Baseball isn't just numbers, numbers, numbers.
This game is not being played on computers.
You don't do that with a bunch of statistical gimmicks.
You don't put a team together with a computer.
We're talking weighted runs created plus,
expected WOBA,
his sweet spot rate,
defensive runs above average,
average exit velocity,
barrel rate,
xFIP,
BABIP,
SIERA.
We are
above replacement radio.
And welcome to Above Replacement Radio. We're talking baseball kind of whenever. I'm your host, Chris Giant. Over there on one of the other sides of the screen is Daniel Curran. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, I'm doing very well today. It is a very special day. We have made it to episode number 300 of Above Replacement Radio, about 4.5 years after the inception of the show to be named later. We've now hit the 300 milestone. We have reached Lefty Grove's career wins. We have reached Al Simmons' career home runs. And you know, I mean, the road to 762 is almost halfway there. So it is very special. And of course, because it's a 50th episode, a milestone, we are here with the Wilhelmsen worshipers. We are here with the Pelfrey Posse. We are here with the Men of McGahee, the Fog Fanatics, among many others. Nico Fiscella and Rob Dickey returning for another draft. How we doing, boys?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
It's one of the best times of the year.
Absolutely. And we also have a draft debut from the Cape Cod Baseball League. Returning to ARR is Brian Butler. Brian, welcome to the draft squad.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
All right. So, of course, we are doing the I Haven't Heard That Name in Years draft, part 2. We did it for episode 150. And that draft was so good, and there were just so many options that we had to bring it back for the big 300. Chris, you want to go over the rules for the draft again?
Yeah, so yeah, anybody that we picked it in episode 150 is off the board. And you know, in terms of the energy we're trying to build, it's MLB 2K13 fantasy drafts, like 16th, 17th, 18th round. Like this is the real crux of it. So we want to kind of go for that type of energy. In terms of team alignment, we have you know, all 8 non-pitcher positions along with a DH, and then 3 starting pitchers and 2 relief pitchers. So that's how the teams are going to be built. In terms of draft order, it is a snake draft order, starting with Daniel, then myself, then Nico, Rob, and Brian. That was the list randomizer, so no inherent bias there. But yeah, and yeah. By the way, I thought it was funny. You know, I think a solid connection with Brian being at the Cape Cod League. This did originate from a drive to Cape Cod, not even revolving around the Cape Cod League, but it's good that we have that sort of connection here. But yeah, do we want to start the draft here?
Let's do it.
All right, Daniel, number 1.
All right, so there's definitely a lot of pressure with having the number 1 pick in this draft because it has to bang. And my pick, you know, I did go back and forth. I had a couple guys on the board, but I'm gonna go with the man with a 106 career OPS plus, a man with a 5 baseball reference wins above replacement, and even 5. That's like a pretty good season, and he did that over the course of 11 years. This man was a Red Sox legend. He played an incredible 49 games for them with a 106 OPS plus as well. Actually did pretty well for a couple years in the early to mid 2010s. Welcome to the team, Brandon Moss.
Let's go.
Wow.
There we go. Brandon Moss.
You can kind of set
1-1.
You can set the tone of like what type of player it's going to be based off the first couple. You can kind of see like, oh, were these guys getting minutes? Were they quadruple A guys? Like,
is my memory correct? Did Brandon Moss hit a home run in like Tokyo or something
the beginning of the year? Definitely did.
That's what I remember most about Brandon Moss. That's a great pick, Dan.
So yeah, now on to my pick, the number 2 overall pick. This guy wasn't even on my board in the first draft, but I just thought of him randomly, and who could forget about the man donning number 88 for the San Diego Padres early in the 2010s, having a 738 career OPS in 278 career games. Not often do you pick a guy who could be your DH first in a draft, but in this draft, it does make sense. And that's why I'm going with Kyle Blanks as my first pick of the I Haven't Heard That Name in Years draft.
That's a great pick.
That's what you do.
Wow.
Took the air out of the room.
Yeah, that was a great name.
No
It
words.
left a blank expression from all of us.
Oh, just see now it looks like we did it on purpose. It was scripted.
The second you said number 88, I got really confused because I like had a vivid memory of someone wearing it, but I forgot what his name was. So I was just like going through trying to remember like what was that guy's name?
Like for the
Uh,
Yeah,
Padres?
not a wide receiver for the Chargers, but a first baseman for the Padres. Nico, what is your number 3 pick?
so I had this man on my draft board. He's been used a decent amount in the grids, but again, been around the block, 650 games, career OPS plus of 74. But what really got me with this guy is I don't remember this graphic, but you know, like with the ESPN like Saturday night games, they're advertising two guys, and it was Mets Nationals, and they go Bryce Harper in one screen, and they go Eric Young Jr. on the left, and they're advertising it.
So you
Someone
go
that
with
is
Bryce
was
Harper, right?
yeah, oh yeah, definitely Harper here. One of my favorite guys to use on the Immaculate Grid, I think solely because of the Rockies connection. Um, Definitely someone that when I went back and I like as watching this as a kid, I was like, wow, he really was not him. Like I don't know why he was there for so long. Why he had a decently long career.
He was also born on May 25th, which is huge.
It's a good day.
You're not just gonna say that with any explanation.
Yep.
Just a day you like.
Well, it's the
Yeah,
same birthday as Miguel Tejada.
yeah, that's
That
why
all
it's
right, so that
important.
makes more sense. That makes
Yeah.
more sense.
Mhm.
All right, on to Rob Dickey.
Yeah, I have no birthday guys with this one, but I do kind of like the sweet spot of guys that played a decent amount of years. So people will remember him. This guy actually had 2 years of an OPS plus above 100, which I did not know. And coming from the catcher position, I feel like that's a little bit more impressive. Welcome to the team, Hank Conger.
Wow.
Wow.
Good pick.
Yeah.
When Chris said the 2013 MLB The Show rounds 16 to 18, that's kind of what I was thinking of, except rounds like 26 to 28 with Hank Conger.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Brian, who's the number 5 pick in the I haven't heard that name in years draft?
Before I actually make my pick, I am gonna say I had Hank Conger on my board. I added him like yesterday. I'm very mad about that.
As did I.
But yeah, so I mean, I know which two guys I'm gonna take here. It's just a matter of which one I want to take first. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go. This guy has a career 5.4 BWAR. Was an all-star, won a Gold Glove, won a World Series as well. Played until 2021, but I don't remember him being on either of these teams, so I think it's fair game. I'm going to take to probably play second base, Joe Panic.
A YD legend.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I forgot he played for the Marlins.
Does anyone get more recognition than Joe Panic for a glove flip?
I can't think of anyone.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Blue Jays legend, Joe Panic.
Blue Jays legend, Mets legend,
Mets
I believe.
legend, yeah.
Stop giving away immaculate great answers. All right.
And now, yeah, rounding back to you, who is the number 6 overall pick?
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised I'm taking this guy second. Was one of my favorite players as a kid. I certainly thought he was a lot better than his statistics reflect. And thought he was I believe Dusty Baker at one point said this player was going to be a future MVP candidate. 2 full seasons above 100 OPS plus. The only stat he ever led the league in a single season was strikeouts. But good power, good speed. I'm gonna take Drew Stubbs.
Yeah.
That is a pick off my
Yeah.
board.
Ooh,
Great pick.
that is a good one. That's a good one.
Until you said speed, I was like, is this a Chris Carter dupe? Like, I was genuinely worried.
The first overall pick in the last draft.
All
Well,
right.
I like the theme of outfielders here. And I like the theme of Giants World Series champions here. Another theme, guys with a couple years of an OPS plus over 100, but nothing too crazy. And of course, the main theme of I haven't heard that name in years. Nate Shearholtz is going to be my outfielder one.
It's a good pick.
Good one. That's a good one.
It's been a minute since I thought of him. You'll be seeing him on my Immaculate Grid soon, too.
That's just terrible. Terrible in so many ways.
There's like 3 picks off my board already. That is one of them.
I just need to confirm. Again, shout out to Control F here. Yeah, okay. Because I'm going with another guy that was like around for a while, a staple for a franchise. And when you look at like the numbers, you really wonder how he was a staple for so long. But he played everywhere. Someone that I just love to watch. I'm taking my utility man here, Danny Espinosa.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. One of the best like mustaches, I think, if I remember correctly, in the game.
For a minute, yeah. I mean, I think that like he had to be known for something. I feel like if you're a utility guy, you got to have some flair somewhere.
He
I wish he
was
didn't
solid
have.
show for a while on those good Nationals teams.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, but if you look at his stats, like again, it's really nothing pretty.
He was kind of a staple in Washington for a little bit there.
Yeah, for no reason. He was just
That's
there.
what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
why did he get these minutes?
Well, I wish he didn't have that mustache, so he was less memorable, and it could hit a little bit even harder. So yeah, now on to the ninth overall pick of the I haven't heard that name in years draft. This guy's been on a litany of teams. He's been used a couple times in my grids, and I was surprised to see he's actually a career above average hitter. But nonetheless, a 753 career OPS, 2.5 WAR in 483 career games. Starting my outfield selections is Justin Ruggiano.
Another banger.
Nico's upset.
Whatever. I live.
Yeah. All right. So I am also gonna take my outfielder one. You gotta have, a strong presence out there in the outfield. And if anyone made their presence known, it was this man for like the first month of his career and absolutely no other point in time. I'm taking a guy that I believe was on the cover of Sports Illustrated at one point. I'm going with Jeff Francoeur.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, one of the toughest. I think he had like an 1133 OPS in his first like 30 something games. The man lit the world on fire for like a month or so in 2005, and then was like kind of okay for like another 10 years before dipping.
Absolutely incredible John Boyce video too.
Also an incredible John Boyce video. That is correct.
Better broadcaster than he is a baseball player?
I mean,
I don't think that's much of a question.
Are we talking April 2005 or every other point?
We'll go with every other point. And
yes. Yeah, he's a better
that.
broadcaster for sure. Yeah, so I guess you have heard that name in years if you watch games on, I believe, TBS. I think that's where he broadcasts.
If you skip the introduction.
Something like that. Yeah. If you skip, exactly. You don't hear the name. Yeah, then you don't hear it. So and now it's time. I got to take the ace off the board. Obviously, you need to get an ace early in these drafts, as they say. And what better than a guy who was meddling on some pretty unforgettable mid 2010s Padres teams. Was he an ace on that team? No. Did he get a lot of innings on those teams? He sure did. Give me Eric Stoltz on the mound. Chris,
those Padres teams are some of my favorites.
He was my first guy on my board, starting pitcher wise. Damn, that is a blow. That is a blow to Team Chris. Whew. That's brilliant. That's a great pick. Should have looked after him sooner. Wow. That's tough. So yeah, following that, I'm gonna add another outfielder to my roster to complement the skills of Justin Ruggiano. This guy, I think based off his name, you would expect him to be like an absolute legend of some sort, but he actually ended up with a 722 career OPS and 1.1 WAR in 483 career games, and that is Dayan Viciedo famously of the Chicago White Sox.
That's a fantastic pick.
That was my next pick.
Oh
Wow.
no.
Hearts are getting
Now-
broken out here in
I
the
I
third
was
round.
going to, as you were like listing his stats, I was pulling up his baseball reference page, like so I could read them off when I picked him, and I was just looking at it like, oh no.
Um, I don't think he would be a draft if I didn't at least go somewhere to the 2012 Red Sox page. And this is someone that it struggles to get love in the Immaculate Grid because he really did nothing. If it's worth anything, I mean, I'll give him the award for if you look at his reference page, he only played in the majors in 2010, 2012, 2014, and 2016. He's not odd. He's a pretty even guy here. So Ryan Kalish is gonna fill up that outfield a little bit more.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
And you got like the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, I think Nico has like a quota of minimum 2012 Red Sox in any draft.
Without question.
I've got at least two more on the board.
No, I think I know who one of them is.
I don't know if you do. One of them's incredibly out of pocket.
Okay.
The other one, I don't know. So we'll see.
I look forward to that. Well, I'm gonna grab my second baseman here. I think when you're building a team, it's really important to grab guys that led the league in sacrifice bunts at any point in their career. This guy only played for two teams, but he played for one for quite a while, actually, 7 years, excuse me. And I remember him vividly hitting in front of Jim Thome on the Twins in the show 2011 lineup. So I'll be taking my second baseman and taking Alexi Casilla.
Great pick.
I think New Britain Rockcats legend, I believe, if I had to guess. So shout out to Alexi Casilla there.
Not going to be able to double check you on that one.
Well, it came up through the twin system, I imagine. All right, Brian, who is your third pick of the draft?
I'm gonna sort of, Daniel mentioned that it's really important to get your ace early, and I think that's what I'm gonna do right now. Played for a lot more teams than I remember. Actually ended up at like 19.6 career B-WAR. Most of his games as a starter, a little bit in relief. Crucially, did get one career save in the year following his incredibly random 8th place Cy Young Award finish. I am going to take part of maybe the funniest trade in baseball history. I'm going to take Doug Fister.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's got some status with the Red Sox. He threw the greatest after one hitter no hitter in baseball history. I think he allowed a home run first at bat.
Oh,
no
he
hits
did do
after
that.
Yeah.
Forgot about that game.
Game 3 ALDS starter, and they won
Yeah,
that
the
game.
one game they won in that
Yeah.
series.
Wow.
We had in the 2 years we had Porcello, Price, Sale all start games for us. Fister was the only guy who started a game that the Red Sox won.
And Drew Pomerantz also started a game that series.
He did, yeah.
Getting PTSD.
And who's your second pick or your fourth pick of the draft?
Piggybacking off of guys that I thought were way better than they actually were. This guy only had 2 full seasons with an OPS plus above 100, barring a random 13-game stint in Texas 3 years after he appeared to be done, in which he put up a 183 OPS plus. I also believe he hit a grand slam in his first career at bat, and that would be Kevin Kuzminov.
Bang.
Oh wait,
That name.
I believe we had the group chat named after him at one point.
We
We did.
did. See, sometimes I'm like,
Back to me, I think.
It is back to you, Rob.
All right. Well, the aces are flying off the board, and last time I took a Miami Marlins previous ace. I can't say that this guy is an ace, but he is a Miami Marlin, and he's going to be my ace. So, Tom Kohler, welcome to the squad.
Ooh.
No,
Nice.
that was on my board.
You really quick pitched us there.
I like the quick pitch. Maybe I'll make it
It's-
even faster next time and just drop the name at some point. No
It's
explanation.
it was
No
good. It was a good
introduction,
change of
just-
speed.
One of these times I'll switch it up.
Yeah, that's what good pitchers do is they change speeds on the hitter.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about, dude.
Well, I'm gonna swing here and take my ace because I guess they're flying off the boards here. Probably not a name most people know that again, if you weren't, and I just it's also back to back, not 2012 Red Sox, but flopped Red Sox prospects. And again, he's not used too often, so give me Henry Owens here as my ace.
I don't
Nice.
want to hear that name anymore. I don't want to have heard that name.
But
in
you don't
years.
understand. We can't give him up for Cole Hamels. We can't give him
You
up.
can't have that.
Anybody else, but not Henry Owens.
Mookie Betts, maybe.
Slide.
Not Henry Owens.
He was one of my favorite people to trade for in, I think, MLB 16, the show. It was either 15 or 16. It was somewhere in there. He always had a potential, but never developed, which I think, yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Sounds right.
Everyone
Could've been.
hyped him up so much when he was in the minors, and he got to the majors and was topping out at like 93.
Yeah, I was like,
We
We
oh,
were like,
this,
wait, what?
this tall strapping lefty must be a real fireballer, and it's like, oh, he looks like late stage Jamie Moyer out here. Like this kid's 23. He's a crafty lefty on like a 1-year deal. That's what he looks like. Yeah, so yeah, that leads to me if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I will delve into the infield for the first time in this draft for myself. I actually saw this guy play in person. And I think that's why I remember this name. But he's been used in my grid a couple times. He had a 56 career OPS plus and negative 0.9 WAR in 402 games. At the second base position, I will be taking Omar Quintanilla.
07 Rockies icon.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I
Not
had a
only
feeling.
did we see this man play in person, we probably saw him play in both Townhouse 2 and 8.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I got that.
Still wondering what's going to happen in game 2.
Is that
Chris,
how far we got?
I don't know. I think so.
I think so. I don't think we got past. I don't think we got to 2. I think we watched. No,
For context, Nico, Chris, and I lived together for 2 years, and Nico had a DVD. Was it Nico or Chris? It was Nico,
no,
right?
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, Nico had a DVD of the entire 2007 Red Sox playoff run, and we would watch the games and talk as if we were in 2007. So we'd be talking about like, oh, John Farrell, that pitching coach for the Red Sox. He'd make a nice manager someday. Anyway, I'm feeling a stock market crash soon.
No, the iconic one from that was when we were complaining about. They were like, "Oh, look at them, they're shifting. Like, what is this analytics? It's never gonna work." And it's with Ortiz up at the plate, and he literally beats the shift for a single, and we all just are like, "See, that's why you don't shift."
It's as simple as that. One of the greatest moments in Townhouse 2 history, for sure.
Chris, if I see one more regular off the Immaculate Grid selections though, like I'm gonna start headhunting. I know who's there.
All right. Okay.
All right, so
Be careful.
I am going to take a man that played second base. You might remember him, but you also might not remember him, and that's totally fine. For his 87 weighted runs created plus in his career, his 9.0 baseball reference WAR, the worst nightmare of Gatorade coolers around the world. Give me Sean Rodriguez up at second base.
Yes.
That's some positional flexibility right there.
For sure. I mean, we're talking second baseman, outfielder, and first baseman as it's listed on his baseball reference page. I mean, that's a lot of inherent value right there, no doubt about it. And then you know what? I'm also just gonna round out my middle infield here and take an ARR icon or an STBNL icon. One of the most talked about players in the history of this show. This man had a incredible MVP caliber season in 2008 and followed it up with definitely not an MVP caliber season in 2009. But he did play in the 2010s as well. Chris and I talked about getting his jersey and hanging it in the Springfield College podcast studio at one point. Welcome to the team, Jason Bartlett.
Legend.
We did actually order one, and it never delivered.
That-
we got our money back though.
I
Yeah.
was genuinely curious to see how hard it would have been to get that jersey in, 2023.
Well,
It was-
this was 2019, so the
Oh,
stock for it was still out there.
It's still fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
was
makes a
only
difference.
like 8 years after he retired.
Yeah. After this pick, I'll reinvite for the Zoom stuff. But yeah. So, Daniel, that was your second pick, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. I got some good praise for an 07 Rocky. So why not give you guys another? How about your Torrealba as my catcher? 5.4 career WAR in 902 games. Yeah, he had some time in Texas, had some time in Colorado, and played in the World Series. So shout out your Torrealba. He's going to take my catcher position.
All right. If it's opening day and you need someone, you're like, hey, who can I call to like really hit 3 home runs? Matt Davidson always picks up the phone. And he's my big power first baseman here. I mean, what a goon this guy was. I actually found time. I mean, is this cheating? Because he technically found a little bit of time on Oakland last year? Maybe, but who knew that? Who
The
knew he played on
2023 Oakland Days don't count.
Exactly.
They're not. They got perfect game by Domingo Germán. You mean to tell me that's a Major League Baseball team?
No, sir. So give me Matt Davidson to handle first base for me.
That's a good one. I like that. I also might take a guy. Actually, I will take a guy that I could switch over to third base if I needed to, much like Davidson. This guy played a lot longer than I thought. I don't know why, but I only really distinctly remember him on one team, maybe 2 teams, but not for 11 years. I remember him most for the Phillies and the Marlins, but I just learned that he also played for Seattle and Washington. So give me Greg Dobbs, just an elite pinch hitter. If there was a pinch hitting spot on this, it would be Greg Dobbs.
Personally, I always got Greg Dobbs and Drew Stubbs mixed up. So that's my story about those two. I'm glad both of them were picked today.
Is it me now?
Yes,
Yep.
it is.
All right. I'm gonna go off of my board here and take a player that I literally just remembered existed.
That's the best one.
That's the idea.
Perhaps the single greatest player ever from the fine nation of Curacao. In one of my outfield spots, I'm going to put Roger Bernardina.
Nice.
There we go.
It's a classic.
Andrew Jones, who?
You just randomly just get that thought of like, oh my God, Roger Bernardina exists. It just
Yeah.
hits you.
I don't know why, but he's there, and now he's going to be patrolling the outfield. He can play any of them, so it's fine. And then I think this is just a true utility guy. He can play just about anywhere you need him in the field. Known for, running around the bases really fast after he hit a home run very consistently. Well, he didn't very consistently hit home runs, but whenever he did, boy, did he sprint around those bases. Give me Adam Rosales.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most entertaining home runs in all of baseball. Just anytime, during the 3 times a year it happened.
I knew he wasn't going to survive if we went a second round of this draft.
Indeed.
Kevin Slowey.
Wow. Didn't say that very
yeah.
slowly.
Kevin Slowey.
Off
we
with
go.
the puns, Dan.
I saw him give up a home run to Gio Gonzalez in person. I think it's the
That
only
is
home.
hilarious.
I think it's the only home run he ever hit. By the way,
That is fantastic.
Oh, so sorry. Okay, we're
That's something
flying
you
through this
remember.
very quick.
you don't forget. Not only do you not forget watching a pitcher hit a home run, but you don't forget the pitcher he hit it off of.
Can I ask whose game were you at?
Nationals game.
Okay.
It was Nats Marlins in DC. It was the second game of the year in 2013, and it was like legit 35 degrees with a wind chill.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
it was
Gio
cold,
Gonzalez.
3-0 game, and the only thing of note that happened was Gio Gonzalez hit a home run, and it was cold.
Oh man.
So that flips it back to me here. And someone that I think this is, as of right now, when looking at my roster, arguably the most, oh, not even arguably, the most credible person with a career WAR of 7. Was shut down for a minute, had some good seasons, but like who was like, oh my God, you know who I want is my final, to go out in the ninth inning. I remember all time. I want Casey Jansen, baby.
Another guy I watched, I watched him give up a grand slam to AJ Pierzynski, one of his like 2 Red Sox home runs ever.
That is wild. That is
You
absolutely
you guys
wild.
just picking guys that I've watched pitch badly before.
Can we keep the
Perfect.
theme going?
I haven't seen this guy pitch in person personally, but I'm sure plenty of fans out there have seen him have a blow up appearance and whatnot. He played for a decent amount of time, considering how kind of average he was. But normally you don't go with a relief pitcher before your starting pitchers, but I figure this guy is deserving of that. He had a 4.40 career ERA in 883 and 2/3 innings pitched. And speaking of Nationals, I got to pick Tom Gorzalani as my first reliever off the board.
That's a
The
great
heck of
name.
That's
good
it's
name.
Pirates legend.
Oh, once I just saw that face, I just got flashbacks.
Um, so I wanted to make sure that I took this guy. I did risk it a bit by saving him until what is this, the 5th round, 6th round? I think it's the 6th round, right? Um, but every time I use him on my Immaculate Grid, Brian also uses him because he's a Reds legend. And we always got to point out, oh my God, Scott Schebler, what a guy. Had like a pretty good-ish. Brian, would you like to tell your Scott Schebler stories if you have any? I'm sure you do.
I mean, I watched him hit a lot of home runs, many in person for like very bad Reds teams. I think I know he had 130 homer year. He probably had another where he was pretty close. I know he was also, I want to say 20, it was either 16 or 17. He had a line where he hit like 30 homers with 56 RBIs or something, which is just absolutely hilarious to me for some reason. Because like no one is getting on base and he's just going yard a ton. I think I saw him hit a 3 homer game. It might have been 2, but I
Scott
don't.
Schebler is one of my favorite people to pick up in like MLB to show like 18 or 19 because without fail, every single time he always gets non-tendered. And he is so cheap and he always hits 20 home runs when I pick him up. Always.
And waiver wire legend, Scott Schebler. And then I am going to take my second picture off the board. You might remember him from being in a league-altering trade in the 2019 trade deadline, going from the Mariners to the Diamondbacks. Everyone remembers the huge Mike Leake trade of 2019 during a massive trade deadline. He was just traded for no reason, and he never pitched again after that. So I'm taking Mike Leake off my board.
What a way to retire.
Cincinnati Macy's legend, Mike Leake. If anyone, I hope someone understands that reference.
I
Mike
cannot say that I do.
Mike Leake is my favorite example of like overpaying for pitchers. It's like, yeah, Mike Leake got 5 years, $80 million. He literally did. It's
He did.
a crazy fact that Mike Leake ever got an $80 million contract, but he did. He
You know,
did.
normally I'm
minor
pro
leagues,
players
dude.
getting the bag, except for when it's Mike Leake getting 5 years and 80 million.
He didn't pitch
It's
in the
like
minors.
actually that money should be going to owners.
That is correct. I was actually about to bring that up. When he was drafted, he did not play a game in the minor leagues before coming to the Reds. He was drafted in, I think, 2010
I
and
think
made
you
his
told me
debut in
this.
2011 without appearing in the minors.
I think you
I
may have
don't know
told me
why I
that
knew
last summer.
I
So
also,
what was your story of him?
oh yeah, I was just about to say that. I believe this also happened in the 2011 season. Mike Leake was arrested in Cincinnati because I don't know, because he like attempted to exchange items. I think it was at a Macy's, without like a service representative there. So he put two shirts back and then took two different shirts and left without like consulting anyone. So he was arrested for just robbery.
So shoplifting legend Mike Leake.
Yes.
If there's a Mike Leake, just like being like, just like again, I haven't heard that name in forever. Like, middle of the pack, like Mike Leake Macy's. Oh, it just seems like it makes sense, you know?
It's
He's a
hilarious
really
that. Go ahead.
So a really solid like number 3 starter on some really good Reds teams though.
You could argue Macy's is like a strong third option. Like, oh, I need to get a shirt real quick. Like, oh shit, Macy's is
It
around
goes,
the road.
it does go together.
The fact that him and Rich Hill have both been
Yep.
arrested in the past few years is pretty mind-boggling.
I was
Rich
gonna
Hill-
make the same comparison.
Rich Hill got arrested outside of a Patriots game, which is just the most ridiculous thing ever. I don't know if he got arrested, but he got handcuffed, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't remember the story, but it was like they wouldn't let his wife like go in with like her purse or something, and he like screamed at security, I think it was.
Yeah, I was at that same game, Pats Bills 2021. JC Jackson drops an interception, could have turned things around for us, but nonetheless, not a football podcast. But my next pick of the I haven't heard that name in years draft. With my ace off the board, I am terribly disappointed not being able to pick Eric Stoltz today. However, I think there's a decent alternative. You may know him from getting a lot of innings for the White Sox, not too much else, but he had a 74 and 76 career record and a 101 career ERA plus, pretty much the definition of average throughout his career, and that is Gavin Floyd of the Chicago White Sox, most notably.
Great pick.
On to Nico's pick.
You mentioned again taking relievers before starters, and Casey Jansen, Henry Owens. That's all I really got in that pen back there. So we're gonna take another again. I think I'm just shouting out my grid guys. This one's gonna take the high score for most WAR on my team. He's got 17. Someone that like every time I just saw him pitch, he's like one of those again random left-handed starters that I was like, you're still in the league. Interesting here. But when in doubt, you need some innings. Eric Bedard is there to take those innings.
Noted Orioles 200 strikeout season legend.
Yeah.
He did what Jim Palmer couldn't.
Wow. My guy is also a guy that actually, when I was doing research for this, I found him, remembered he existed, and then was very close to not using him because I wanted to use him for the grid sometime, because I had no idea that he stole 30 bases for the Houston Astros in 2011. And that could 100% be something that I could have over you guys in our immaculate grid competition. But Jason Borges is going to take up an outfield spot for me.
A great pick.
He was on my board.
I think it's Bourgeois is how it's
It
pronounced.
is Bourgeois.
You know what? I'm here to pick baseball players that I haven't heard their name in years. Clearly, since I don't know how to pronounce it, it's been a minute.
Jason
Makes sense.
Bourgeois, Reds legend, both in that he played for the Reds and also is
And also got arrested.
Well,
at
no,
Macy's.
not to my knowledge.
This man is
But-
not welcome to Macy's.
He was the center fielder when Jay Bruce hit the walk-off home run to clinch the division.
That's
He is-
right. It's in the call.
Yeah, it's like I think Tom Brenneman saying like back goes Bourgeois, and then
Jay Bruce digging in to start tonight. High drive, left center field, racing back to the wall, Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions.
ball
Yeah, it's
hits
his-
the batter's eye.
It's his most famous
One of
call.
the great Tom
Certainly.
Brenneman calls of all time for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it really is honestly like especially when he was the broadcaster for the Reds, I did make a lot of fun of Tom Brenneman. That is one of my favorite calls of all time. Just like for the like sentimental value of it, because I was like 8 when it happened, but also just like it is a really good call.
Not the one he's remembered for, but a good
I think
one.
he was a good announcer. I wonder why he's not.
Yeah.
I haven't heard
I
that
mean,
name in years.
his dad was there for so long. Like, it was a family thing. Like,
That's
what
crazy.
happened?
Hot Mike.
Wait, whose pick is it next?
It's me. I'm rather mad at myself because I did hint at this earlier. I should have taken them back to back. That's honestly, I apologize for that. I dropped the ball. He was traded for Doug Fister. I'm gonna take Charlie Furbush.
Oh.
Nice.
So my Charlie Furbush story is that in 2014, 15, and after the 2015 season, the Red Sox traded Wade Miley to the Mariners, and I was on Twitter when the news broke. The sources, everyone was saying the Red Sox are getting a reliever in return, and I was like, it's got to be Charlie Furbush. It's Charlie Furbush or bust. If it's anyone else, I don't like it. And we got Carson Smith, who
Loved it.
pitched like 2 games for us, was terrible, and we could have been.
Charlie Furbush story.
Dude, I don't know.
That just comes to mind.
Dude, because I wanted him really bad for like a good 20-minute period in 2015.
All right.
Am I wrong for saying that the Oh no, sorry. What were we saying?
You're good. I'm dropping another guy, so this is the last.
Oh wait, no, I have another pick.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Just real quick, is Charlie Furbush, was there not like an era of Seattle Mariners bullpen arms that just odd, like there was like multiple Furbushes, like they just all like Wilhelmsen, like there was just like that white guy, tall, lengthy with a beard, like there were so many. There's
you just described a relief pitcher, like it's either guys who throw 100 or like lanky white guys. Sometimes there's a bit of overlap, but like that is a relief pitcher.
Fair. I don't know. I just feel like the Mariners were coined like that specific white skinny reliever.
That's fair. My second pick is going to be someone that Daniel and I believe have actually had some conversations about in the past when we were talking about players we thought were going to have much better careers. But he was a pretty solid power bat for only ended up actually playing 5 seasons. But 2 of those seasons he had more than 20 home runs. So like holding down first and third base for Oakland for a little bit. I'm gonna take Ryan Healy.
Wow.
Yeah.
The weird spelling guy.
Yes.
Ryan Healy.
Ryan.
So Brian, I'm really happy that you had another pick there because as Nico was explaining, he said Tom Wilhelmsen. And I literally thought in my head, I have not heard that name in years. So I'm taking Tom Wilhelmsen.
He was the first guy that the group chat was named after. I mentioned him in the intro.
I don't know.
The Wilhelmsen worshippers.
Huh?
When I used to load up
I remember this. But I used to the intro. When Nico said it, it just triggered something. I was like, wow, I'm gonna take him right now. And that's what I'm gonna do.
We mentioned all the video game staples like MLB 2K12, like he was one of them. I don't want to say the rest of my bullpen because like there are some names there, but he was one of them.
I think I remember most of my like drafted Red Sox team from like MLB 2K13 on the Wii. Some of them are on my board. And we all have the same story of like this guy was on my team that one time. All right, Nico, you are up.
Oh, my apologies.
You're
I'm
good.
actually going to use someone from that bullpen because, again, my 2K12 virtual bullpen, because why was he in the league? In 2012, he was age 39, and this man had entered the league at the age of 26 and has recorded 1 season as a starter where he had an ERA under 4. That's going to be Ramon Ortiz.
Best Ortiz in baseball history.
He's almost before our times because like he was like basically out of the league almost when we were like talking 06. I don't know about you, but like 7-year-old me was not all over Ramon Ortiz.
I remember this guy, Russ. I think there was a Russ Ortiz also. And I was like, oh, is he like David's brother? But obviously it's a very popular name. Doesn't mean they're related.
There's a guy, Joey Ortiz, used to play for the Orioles.
And
That's
The
it.
Brewers now.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say, wait.
I haven't heard that name in weeks.
We should have one of those with the like at the end of the offseason with the very relevant players. Haven't heard that name in weeks.
My my next pick is a very, very just generic, forgettable white guy on the A's. He played first base for a number of years, and he actually didn't play for any other team. And I at my first base slot, I will be putting Derek Barton.
He was
Another weird spelling guy.
He was a guy I'm pretty sure who had that one season at one point.
He led the league in walks one year, which is pretty nuts. He had 110
If I remember correctly,
walks.
I'm pretty sure I remember putting him. If I remember correctly, I feel like I remember putting him on my. Yeah, he had a 5.5 win season in 2010, and he had a career BWAR of 8.9.
Yep. And a 99 career OPS plus, which is really just the cherry on top. That
Yeah, that's
ever so
it
slightly
doesn't-
below average for a career.
Yeah. All right. What do I still need on this team? Okay, I need pretty much most of everything. All right. So I'm going to take my catcher off the board. The funny story of this pick is that I had not heard his name in years until somebody that I interviewed in the Cape League name dropped him in the middle of an interview. And I knew that I had to take Cameron Rupp the next time I had a chance. Katuitt Kettleer's icon lived with Danny Crossan when he was a kid who used to play for Northeastern that now coaches the Katuitt Kettleers. So I gotta show some love to the Cape League guys. So Cameron Rupp, Phillies legend, only played for the Phillies. It will be my catcher.
Yeah, Danny Cross, and shout out to the Martha's Vineyard Sharks as well.
Yep, that is correct.
Who's your next pick?
All right, I get two in a row. So for my next pick, I am going to round out my infield and take a guy that was on the wrong side of a very unfortunate trade. A trade that set a franchise back many years. You remember him as the main return in the Josh Donaldson to the Blue Jays trade. I am taking Brett Laurie as my third baseman.
Yeah. I saw him back in 2012. It was this is all like early childhood, either trauma or very nostalgic stories. But it was my dad's birthday, and we went to watch a game for his birthday, and it was the first pitch of the game, and Brett Laurie sent it over the monster seats, and the Blue Jays won over the Red Sox 15-7. And it was it was, of course, it was in 2012, so it really was just so emblematic of what that season really was. First pitch home run by Brett Laurie.
Was that the day you saw Omar Vizquel play as well?
That is also the day I saw Omar Vizquel play, and I saw him go 2 for 4. I think it was 2 for 4. Regarding my next pick, as it swings back over to me, I gotta pick my captain of the infield. Shortstop is a very important position in baseball, as we all know. So I'm willing to sacrifice the offense a little bit. This guy did have a 68 career OPS plus and actually negative 0.6 wins above replacement in 702 games. You may know him from his days in the Padres. I'm talking Alexi Amarista for my shortstop.
Another 30 steals guy.
Oh, really?
Was he actually?
In his season, I'm near positive. I'm gonna look it up now.
Oh man,
Rob's just been
awesome.
waiting for the steals opportunity on the Immaculate Grid.
I totally lied.
Instead, it's been one game play right field for like.
It'd be a big 0.6%.
So here I am once again. I'm gonna follow Dan in the sense of like, wow, who is this kind of a relevant catcher from the mid 2010s here? Was a staple. The more that I can't say I can really remember a very iconic moment, but I can remember just this dude just always being on the team, and I'm like, oh, I see that name a lot. And what a name to have. I mean, when I think of like just a basic white dude that's a backup catcher, I mean, Chris Herman fits the bill. Like they said, Chris Herman, you gotta fit this role like you're Chris Herman. And he said, yes, sir. And that's all.
He played the role really nicely. He was casted as Chris Herman, and he played Chris Herman.
I'm also gonna take it, Chris. I'm gonna take Chris Heisey.
Oh,
Chris Heisey. I thought Chris Heisey was him there for a second. Like I really did when I was growing.
I was at a game in 2011 where Chris Heisey hit 3 home runs against the Yankees, and that was one of the greatest moments of my childhood.
I can imagine why.
Yeah, I remember watching that on Quick Pitch, and I was like, man, Chris Heisey, he's an up and comer. Like he's gonna be one of the future pieces of the Reds.
Him and Drew Stubbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Chris Heisey is like, someone mentioned it earlier, like if there was a pinch hitter spot, that would be perfect for Chris Heisey because he was just like an electric. I think he has really good career pinch hitting numbers. I don't know exactly anything off the top of my head, but I do remember him being in that role a lot and being very good at it.
I can look that up. I can look that up as we're picking here.
That brings it back to me, right? I think I'm gonna take my catcher here. This is a guy that like I have very bad memories of. He was like kind of backup platoon catcher type for a while. But every time the Reds played the Pirates, he was always in the lineup for the reason of he was really good at hitting against the Reds and no one else for some reason. Like to the point that I was like genuinely afraid every time Michael McHenry came up to bat against the Reds. Which also includes his Rockies tenure of when the Rockies had a run of like catchers that couldn't hit unless they were playing the Reds. But yeah, Michael McHenry behind the dish.
That's a very good one.
Oh man, I'm looking at my board here. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna take him. This was a guy, I forget what year like MLB The Show sim statistics were like really heavily, I think it was really heavily based on either hits per nine or walks per nine for simulation for pitchers. This was a guy that you could get really cheap every year, like C potential 78 overall, but he'd come out and put up a 3 ERA like in your 4th spot in your rotation. So I'm putting Andrew Triggs in my rotation.
I tweeted about him like 2 weeks ago.
I saw that, and it was like the day after we had talked about this draft, and I had him on my board, and I was really scared.
Listen, April through May 2017, Andrew Triggs was not someone you wanted to mess with. He rocked that like 3.32 ERA or something like that. I'm pretty sure he also played for the Red Sox.
I think you are correct. He did play for the Red Sox.
We have the Chris Heisey pinch hitting information. As a pinch hitter in 222 plate appearances, he slugged .520, and had 15 home runs in those 222 plate appearances. So, 14 home runs. So, if you pull that over like a full season, he'd be like a 40 home run hitter if he just ended up a pinch hitter. So yeah, shout out to Chris Heisey and his wonderful pinch hitting abilities.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna round out my starting rotation right here with a guy that I feel like if he didn't get hurt, because I just looked up why he retired. I feel like if he didn't get hurt, we may have heard this name more frequently, but unfortunately, that's why he's gonna be on my team. Shout out Jared Parker. He was always high potential in those early MLB The Show video games, and he was always on my team, and today is going to be no different.
Real quick, Jared Parker, the pitcher for the A's, or Jarrett Parker from the Giants?
The pitcher for the A's. The pitcher for the A's.
Okay, because Jarrett Parker was an outfielder and pinch hitter for the Giants in the mid 2010s.
I don't even remember him. So
okay.
we're going with Jared.
I remember when the Rays had, I think, 2 rookies in a row start for the postseason. They mentioned that they were the first team since the 2012 A's to do that. And it was like Jared Parker and Tommy Malone just starting 2 games in a row for the 2012 A's.
I wanted to put Tommy Malone on my board, but I was like, I guarantee you he's going to find his way back to the league somehow.
Parker was gonna
I
be
found
my was
something.
almost gonna be my last starter before I took
Huh.
Ramon Ortiz. So
Tommy
I saved it, Rob.
Malone is active. He pitched for the Mariners last year.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
I think
You know,
he's
he
the
finds
only
a way.
he's the only active player that qualifies for this for this draft.
He made 2 starts for the 2023 Mariners.
Dude, I wonder why they missed the playoffs.
Well, I remember he started that game where the Braves scored 29 runs and he was the Braves pitcher in that. And I was like, he's still in the league, and he's still in the league 3 years after that.
Yeah.
Hey, he had a 2.10 ERA plus in 9 innings last year, so maybe he's just gonna have a resurgent year, you know. If he's
I'm
on
gonna. Well, I
someone's
mean, listen,
roster.
is he still on the Mariners?
Um,
Probably not, right?
I don't know. I was just looking at his baseball reference. It doesn't say that
Right.
he's with a team.
Because I mean, like, you know, we are doing our AL West players to watch next week.
He is in fact currently a free agent.
Yeah, that's no. Well, you know what? He'll find someone's gonna get hurt.
He'll find some
pull
innings.
Yeah.
He'll find some innings on the Red Sox, and I'll jump off the green monster.
Yeah, guys,
He's
we couldn't
also,
sign Jordan Montgomery, but guess what we could do?
Tommy Malone's also a Cape League legend. He played for Chatham. He
Oh,
won
that's
he won the Pitcher of the Year award in 2007.
Yeah, actually.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. He went 6-1 with the 2.92 ERA.
Damn. Imagine if he played for Tom Holliday. The
Oh no.
What's that?
Oh no, sorry. I thought I just crashed for a second.
Gotcha.
But I'm on the clock though, right?
Rob, you just picked, right? Or wait, who picked?
I
I
went
have no
Jared
idea who
Parker.
just picked. Yeah,
I
Rob
went
picked
Jared
Jared Parker.
Okay.
All right. I held on long enough then. I have to go back to the 2012 Red Sox. And it's honestly a real curse I didn't do this the first time. Granted, they've already shared the infield together, but you know, if there's a guy you need late July, eat up some innings, take up some at bats, look entertaining. You know, I can't tell you what the actual impact that 2012 Pedro Siriaco had on my baseball knowledge, but there's
Exactly
so
who I
much
thought you were going with.
There's
knew
so
it.
much there.
Every
So
time,
surprised that he lasted
that's
that
the
long.
one. Genuinely, that is the one guy where if he's available in Immaculate Grid, I'm like, I gotta let Nico take this one.
He is one of my favorite people to use on Immaculate Grid.
Genuinely is one of the inspirations I have for loving this game is this random infielder.
Yeah, he was like the one reason to watch the Red Sox from like
Dude,
August
yeah,
15th
had
on.
every like now
2012.
and then someone will have like an engagement farming MLB tweet where it's like name an MLB player that went on a Linsanity run, and like Pedro Siriaco is one of those guys.
You asked me like what 2 players, like I could field a baseball team and I only need 2 people to play against the Yankees. It's either one, well, you could pick your starter of either like Dubront or like Erod. More Erod, because Erod always was been good
Stephen
against the
Wright was
Yankees.
another one.
And then yeah, give me Siriaco. We'll play everywhere out. Like it'll be fine. The 2 of them can single-handedly beat that New York team.
And then if you need another guy, you can bring Chris Heisey off the bench to pinch it.
162 and 0 team.
Yeah. I mean,
think-
again, with that, and that's against the '98 Yankees too.
Yeah, facts.
I think
That
when
100%.
Xander Bogaerts was coming up, I was like, I wonder how they're gonna fit, Siriaco and Bogaerts both on the field.
Goodbye.
Well, we were gonna trade Bogarts for Matt Harvey, so
Yeah. Yeah, that was gonna work. So yeah, now on to my next pick. I'm gonna take another reliever, and this kind of really fits the mold in my opinion of like the MLB 2K13 fantasy draft, like round 20. Like I'm getting this guy. I feel like I was always facing this guy, and this honestly, like I think when I did face him, I was like, oh, this is like just just a auto-generated name. Like this isn't a real guy, but he was a real guy, and the real guy is Neil Kotz, famously of the Rangers and White Sox. So he's gonna round out my bullpen.
good pick. If I remember correctly, he pitched for like kind of a while.
He pitched for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
It felt longer than that.
he was around. He was definitely
Yeah.
around.
All right.
Above,
I am
above
going.
average ERA plus.
There we go. I am going to round out my outfield here And I should have taken this guy in the first draft, to be honest, and it's a shame that I've let him go this late, even in the second draft. I mean, my story with him, he wasn't mentioned in the car ride, but I randomly name dropped him on the first podcast that we did after the car ride. You might know him from being the manager of your Hartford Yard Goats. I've got to take Chris Denorfia off the board here. I mean, it's a needed pick for sure. A Cubs icon, a Padres legend. You talk about, the faces, like the true faces of the like rebuild Cubs in the early 2010s. Chris Denorfia is your guy, right? He wasn't like the beacon of hope like Starlin Castro was. He wasn't. He was just a guy that played for the Cubs when they were in the Theo era, but winning 75 games a year. And he's gonna be playing outfield for my team.
Daniel, you neglected to mention that Chris Denorfia is a Reds legend.
He is a Reds legend as well. That's right. And then I'm going to take my first reliever off the board. I was doing my research today and I found this man and was like, this is my RP1 right here. A Cardinals legend, most notably. I believe he was on the 2013 World Series roster for them. Randy Choate was a guy.
Need a lefty.
Need a lefty.
Weird arm angle guy, if I recall correctly, or am I just fibbing that?
All of the 2013 Cardinals relievers are like meshed into one person in my mind.
Yeah, it's like you put a picture of Seth Maness next to Randy Choate. I see the same.
Yeah, Kevin Segrist.
Oh my God, Kevin Segrist! Remember
Yeah,
the bomb that Ortiz had off Kevin Segrist? Oh
sometimes
man,
I check my prescription because I'm like, is that Randy Choate or is that Edward Mujica? I can't tell.
So yeah, now on to now wrapping around back to me. I'm rounding out my outfield here. He had a 727 career OPS in 517 games, and you could deny a lot with him, but you can't deny that he's just a real guy. I'm talking about Brandon Guyer of the Tampa Bay Rays and Cleveland
Ball
Guardians.
magnet.
2016 World Series champion.
No, he played for Cleveland.
If anyone was going to be a guy, it's got to be him.
No, he hit the double that set up Rajai Davis's home run, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
He
damn.
definitely did.
Yeah.
That brings to Nico, right?
Yes, it does.
No, I believe I just have to double check this because in last year's or last time we did this, I think I ended up taking him. No, I did not. I completely ran him anyways, but so many different places to go right now. I'm going to go with somebody that if he's known for anything, although again, career average or career OPS of 117, arguably like this is my cleanup hitter or my two hitter, depending on the analytics. Best burns in the league, Luke Scott.
Ooh. Yeah.
Luke Scott was a guy.
If like I know Brandon Guyer is like the guy, but like, all right, who looked like a guy? Luke Scott looked like a guy.
I love a draft where an out of context quote is, I know Brandon Guyer was the guy.
Luke Scott legitimately was on my MLB 2K13 fantasy draft team. He was my platoon DH against right-handers, and he was actually pretty phenomenal.
Off topic, I hope anyone didn't plan on taking this guy, but do you ever have those guys like on your MLB 2K team where it's like they were at the end of their career, and like you didn't really think that they were good, but it actually turned out that like they were like veteran players in the league that actually were good at one point? Because that was me with Placido Polanco.
I honestly really feel that.
I had him in 2013. I was like, this guy is like kind of mid, and then I later was like, wait a minute, he was like good once actually.
Kind of how I was with Aramis Ramirez.
Yeah, another good one.
That was me. It wasn't an MLB The Show, but that was me with Jim Edmonds on the Reds. And also the Brewers, I think that same year, where it was just like veteran bench bat, and then you look and he's like, wow, this guy was actually really good.
So you got to get a little bit of World Series experience on every good team. So at my shortstop position, maybe the captain of my team, quite possibly, I'm going with back-to-back World Series champion to end his career, Ryan Terriot.
Yeah, 2011 Cardinal, 2012 Giant, I believe.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I think he I think he might have scored the game-winning run of the 2012
I'm
World
pretty sure he
Series.
did. The game 4 in extra innings. I'm pretty
Wasn't
sure
it-
that was him.
It was driven in by Marco Scutaro, I think.
Another guy that could be on here.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, onto Brian.
I'm gonna take another relief pitcher here. This is a guy that in my research for this I learned is actually still playing. He's playing in the Chinese Professional Baseball League, which is interesting to me because I thought he just like was consistently on minor league contracts following his last season was 2016 when he appeared with the Orioles. But he was a really solid middle reliever pitched a good amount of innings. I also haven't taken a red in a while, which is kind of bothering me. So I'm going to take Logan Ondrusik.
I was trying to like see if I can guess that off the top of my head. Nope.
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 And then with the sort of wraparound pick, I'm trying to think here. I need one more starter and I need a starter and then two position players. Okay. I think I'm going to take what do I want to do? I'm not gonna. I don't have stats for this pulled up because I for some reason forgot that I was making two picks in a row. I am going to take a very fun player to put at my DH, player that I saw play a lot growing up because he was on a lot of Brewers teams. I'm gonna take Ricky Weeks.
Yes, sir. Home run derby
Ricky Weeks.
participant, Ricky Weeks.
What a banger pick. What a nice
I'm
sweet.
actually gonna do something similar, kind of like a player that like I haven't heard his name in years, so I don't know if it's gonna resonate the same with you guys, but I'm gonna take Blake DeWitt, put him
Ooh.
at third base. I don't know why,
Nice.
when I first started playing the show in like 2008, 2009, him and Andre Ethier, that 2-3 combo in the lineup was just absolutely elite for those Dodgers teams. So that means a lot to me. I don't know if it means a lot to you guys too.
Andre Ethier is a guy that's like could be here, but also is just like too good to be here.
Yeah.
We could
But
forget that hit streak. I think he got to
Yeah.
like 33 or something like that.
Let's
Don't forget that lame throw from left field, trying to throw out who was it, Fisher, I think, coming in from second base on Alec Bregman's single in game 5 of the
Oh my God, that's
2015 World
right.
Series.
Yeah.
And New
Derek
York
Fisher?
Knicks legend Derek Fisher.
Yeah, exactly.
He had his Tony Renda moment in the World Series.
Yeah.
Wait, Tony Renda played in a World Series?
No. So
Oh,
Derek Fisher scored the game-winning run in the 13-12 game in the 2017 World
Yeah.
Series, and that was his
Yes.
only appearance in that series. And Tony Renda's only appearance with the Red Sox was pinch running at second base and scoring the game-winning run.
In 2018, does he get a ring?
He does.
I didn't know Tony Renda played anywhere other than Cincinnati.
I mean,
when you were
Barely.
telling me about this draft and like we're clarifying that the players couldn't be like don't just name players from the 2015 Reds. I think my immediate response was okay, no Tony Renda.
it would have worked with us, but like probably no one else.
I didn't know he played anywhere else. I thought that was
I
like his
mean,
only season in the league.
His only appearance for the Red Sox was pinch running in the 10th inning of a game and scoring the game-winning run. Didn't have an at-bat, didn't record an inning in the field, pinch ran once. But it was it was a Sunday night game to sweep the Yankees, so it was huge.
Benintendi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Put him up, I think, 7.5 in the division.
9.5.
Oh, 9. Oh yeah, 9.5. Jesus.
Mhm.
What a great year. Anyway, who's next?
I believe Nico is next.
We're gonna continue the picks from the heart here. And then, surprise, pick from the heart. What year could it be? 2012. Where do we find ourselves? Another Red Sox here. But again, just keeping it from the heart picks. If you want to talk about if there's one clip, if like
I know exactly what this is.
if there's any clip that I could just watch on repeat, I can't watch any baseball for the rest of my life, and I can only watch this. It is Kelly Shopik's stolen base. The slide attempt, like 6 feet in front of the bag. Like it is just my favorite blooper ever of all time. Like shopping
never-
is this team.
Chris, can you like edit it onto the screen?
Carried it into the regular season. 0-2 is high. Taken off for second is Shopping. A bit of a delayed steal surprise, and he is safe.
Like you got the
I'll cut it in.
feet of the backup catcher. I think it's against Tampa, and he just slides, and brother is nowhere close. He's like crawling, and I'm pretty sure he still makes it. No, he gets tagged.
No, he gets tagged out. Nico,
Yeah.
the first time I saw that clip was sophomore year. You showed it to me in your room, and you're like, because we were naming guys like before the car ride even, and you were like, hold on, do you know the Kelly Shopping clip? And I was like, no, and you were like, I gotta pull this up.
It is the best stolen base attempt I've ever seen.
Nico, can you send me this clip as well? I don't remember this either.
I'm actually,
Oh my god.
Send it to the group chat.
I'm watching it right now. I think what I believe is the one you're talking about. He actually was safe. Is it he just like flops down?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, he was safe. It was his
The
first
other
career
good
stolen
one.
base.
The other good one is Kevin Millar. If anyone knows that clip.
Yeah, it was shown on intentional talk like all the time in his
Yep.
Marlins days.
It was-
I don't know. If you look at this clip, no one in the field knows what's going on. Like Molina behind the plate, like pump fakes 3 times.
Yes, I think I'm starting to remember this.
No, I'll never forget being shown it for the first time.
All right.
It's one of those things where like the only bad thing about the video is you can only watch it for the first time once.
All right, this is a live reaction to me.
Nico said Yachty or Molina. I was like, they played the Cardinals?
No, I just said Molina because
I think it was Jose or Benji. I don't know.
Oh my God. That is amazing.
I love how it's his first career stolen base.
You're also seeing the one that's just like recorded like off of someone's computer, like someone's recording their computer with their phone.
Oh, wait, such a shout out
By
here.
the way, it was posted on April 13th of 2012. You already know that like it happened. Someone was like, wait, we gotta rewind the TV, recorded it, posted it on YouTube.
I don't know if this is a double whammy, but I'm pretty sure that's Reed Briniak that catches the ball at second for Tampa.
Oh, that's even better. By the way, the video has 2.6 thousand views. Nico, how many of them are you?
Yes.
Gotta be at least half of them, right?
I'm pretty sure I saw this slide live. This is just like again, when I tell you this 2012 Red Sox team was entertaining and like worth every like I watched at least 120 games this year. I don't regret it.
They were very 2023 Red Sox-esque, where like you look at the record and it's like, wow, they were really bad, but then it turns out they just had an awful September and they were like kind of in it for most of the season.
Yeah, true. I mean, summer was when that team really died.
When David Ortiz got hurt on the home run, that team was just over. And yeah.
Who said Kelly Shopping on a delayed steal?
Was Butterfield the third base coach at that point?
Bobby Valentine just said, "I don't care."
That was so funny because of the flop, just into second base. But on the initial run, I didn't
it's
realize
also the triple pump fake.
Yeah, Molina's going, and then he throws it.
And he almost got him too.
I didn't realize about the slide until the replay, and then I saw the slide. And he like stands back up.
When you said he slides like 6 feet from the base, what I thought you meant was that he slid way too early and like makes it like most of the way, but doesn't quite get there. And then I saw it and I was like, oh, it looks like he like didn't realize the base was there until he looked down.
It's like he forgot to slide and he wanted to do it so his coach didn't like yell at him for not sliding into second base. It's like it's exaggerated, but it's like that clip of Pablo Sandoval swinging at a pitch like 7 feet above his head on a hit and run. It's like, you gotta swing because otherwise it's gonna be a problem if you don't, no matter where the pitch is.
Oh man.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, back to the draft.
Yeah, that's tough to follow. It's tough to follow. In putting this guy on my board, I realized like this is kind of the peak of nostalgia, and I think maybe this is the reason why this is part of the reason why this draft was created, was this peak nostalgia. And like I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with, like, if anyone scrolls like Instagram reels or TikToks and they show like it's POV, it's a summer day in like 2009, and like there's that weird like bird that's chirping that like we all apparently had as kids and stuff like that. For me, it's I'm back home from a little league practice. It's the second inning at the Rogers Center, and Sean Markham is on the mound, and pitching for the Blue Jays. He really fits the mold here, so I gotta put him on. Also, shout out Brewers legend as well. So, yeah, Sean Markham is my second starting pitcher off the board.
What a
Icon.
dude.
That's a great one. I'm now disappointed that I have no more starting pitcher spots, so I can't take someone else from that staff.
Yep.
Um,
All right.
That's a really good one.
So I got to round out my rotation here, and this is a meme, and it also fits perfectly. When you're a guy that retires with 69 career wins and a 4.20 ERA, I mean, it's perfect, especially for this guy's personality. But also, I mean, you got a 69 and 75 career record, a 99 ERA plus. I mean, what, it doesn't get any more. I haven't heard that name in years than Brandon McCarthy.
Mhm.
And then I got to take my last reliever off the board as well. Relievers are such a gold mine. Obviously, I put so many, and I really don't even, to be honest, I have 20 relievers on this board, and I don't actually know which one I want to pick. All right, I'm gonna go with the guy. So, this guy was very famous. He wasn't very famous actually, but if you knew him, you knew him for having the like 1800s wind up in the year 2015 for absolutely no reason. I'm taking Ross Ollendorf, a Reds legend, a Rangers legend, many other teams. If you go on YouTube and watch his highlights, which I'm sure are like 27 seconds long, you'll see like, and half of that 20 seconds is him in the windup. He literally has the 1940s wind up for no reason.
Oh, that's brutal. I've
You
tried so
mentioned,
many. I've like had him in the back of my head for like Immaculate Grid is just Ross Ollendorf, because like that was a guy like 2 weeks ago that I just remembered, and like my immediate reaction is like, ugh, Ross Ollendorf.
uh, you mentioned he was a Reds legend. I do have a Ross Ollendorf story. The in when Tom Brenneman was the Reds broadcaster, there were like certain things about players that he would like mention every time the player appeared in a game or
Like
just on
Kyle
the
Schwarber
screen.
being from Ohio.
Yeah, Kyle Schwarber being from Middletown, Ohio. Josh Harrison went to Princeton High School. Ian Happ went to University of Cincinnati. Ross Ollendorf had one of those, which is actually, and it's actually a kind of an interesting fun fact. I believe he was a triple major at Princeton.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Big Shot.
That's crazy.
Last time I checked, though, Kyle Schwarber was from Waltham, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm pretty sure it was.
Daniel, do you have another pick, or did you pick two?
I picked two. I
All
picked
right.
Ollendorf and I picked Brandon McCarthy.
Oh yeah, yep.
The ideal combo.
When you mentioned the old school pitching style, I thought you were gonna say Paul Bird, which is actually a little bit earlier on, but I do remember, shout out Paul Bird. I watched him at Fenway against Roy Halladay, and one team won 7-0, and it was the Red Sox. They completely shelled Roy Halladay, while Paul Bird shut out the Blue Jays. So shout out Paul Bird for that. I'm not gonna pick him, however, he does deserve a shout out. My next pick will be coming from the third base position. Not necessarily known for offense, had a 599 career OPS in 358 games. Just kind of floating around. I think had some time in on the south side. Talking about Brent Lillibridge.
Nice.
He's occupying my third base position.
Great.
Feels
great
personal.
We're on like round 14.
I know that's a yeah. I gotta wrap this up. So my gentleman here, when I first like I could say that like my first series I remember specifically watching well was the 2011 World Series. Um, and this is someone I just always had to check back on. I'm like, I don't know why I thought this man was like a very important role, but like Fernando Salas, like
Oh,
he
yes.
he's had a career, but I don't think there's like I don't know the way that I think about this man. Just because I like growing up, I was like, wow, this dude is like a key important guy, and he was just a reliever, just a guy.
He
Big
is my
seventh inning guy.
he is my go-to Angels and Mets guy on the Immaculate Grid because I remember both fan bases hating this man when he was pitching for them. And he gets me like a 0.02% every single time without a doubt.
I remember you using him like often
Yep.
now that you mention it.
Yeah.
That brings me to my DH. This guy is most known in my head for being the best player on the 2015 or 16 Orioles on the show. He was like a 78 or something. So every time you went to rebuild them, the first step was always trading Jimmy Paredes. Always.
I have a Jimmy Paredes story. So when
So many stories about these guys.
I know when I went to Martha's Vineyard for the NECBL championship game, to cover that, you know, you go to a New England baseball game at any level, right? You're gonna see your fair share of Red Sox fans. You're gonna see your fair share of jerseys. And sure enough, I saw a Jimmy Paredes Orioles jersey. And I think it's the only one that was ever sold. It probably was like his brother or something. Um, but it's in my Snapchat memories. Just no shot. There's a guy with a Jimmy Paredes jersey in Martha's
That is pretty
Vineyard,
unbelievable.
Massachusetts.
Random jersey sightings are my favorite. Like I
Yeah.
was at a high school football game down here in Virginia, and I saw a Josh Reddick Astros jersey, which is just like none of it added up. None of it added up whatsoever.
All right,
Who's
take us
next on?
home.
What?
Who is it me?
It is.
Okay. I'm going to go with someone that I have a personal story to tell. In 2015, I attended a Mets Cardinals game in St. Louis. And I thought like I was like looking the weeks ahead, I was like looking at the schedule and I was like trying to like map out who the starting pitcher for the Mets would be because I really wanted it to be Bartolo because obviously in 2015 you would want to see Bartolo pitch for the Mets. He actually ended up starting the day before. And the game I went to is still to this day the longest game in New York Mets history. It lasted 18 innings. I stayed through all 18. It was scoreless until the 13th when both teams scored one run, and then the Mets scored two in the top of the 18th and won the game. Jacob deGrom pinch hit for the Mets in this game because they ran out of people on the bench. But the starting pitcher on that fateful day in St. Louis for the New York Mets was John Neese, who I'm going to take here.
I knew exactly where you were going the second you said I wanted to see Bartolo, and it was John Neese. Fun fact, in 2015, I saw like the best pitching matchup imaginable. I saw Clayton Kershaw versus Bartolo Colon. Like you get a mix of everything you could ever want. You get a future Hall of Famer and you get Bartolo Colon.
Clayton Kershaw.
And you get Clayton Kershaw as well. Yeah.
And then with my last slot here, I've got this one might be a bit forced. This is an outfielder. Like he's going to play the outfield, which he did technically do. He played outfield he played left field apparently for the Yankees at some point. So I'm counting him as an outfielder.
Did you use him today?
What?
He was one of the squares on the Immaculate Grid today was left field for the Yankees.
I didn't know he played left field until about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, fair enough.
Because I was like, I really want to take this guy, but can I like, did he ever play the outfield? Can I like force him in here?
Bend the rules.
This is a guy. my dad and I used to make jokes about this guy when I was a kid because his scoreboard pictures were always really funny, especially when he was with the Pirates and then with the Marlins. Mainly played, I believe, second base, but he's gonna play the outfield because I said so. It's Neil Walker.
Mm.
Yeah, Marlins legend, Phillies legend. I know Phillies fans really love Neil Walker.
I feel like he might be like the best player that's been drafted.
Yeah. I
Like,
just remember when Craig Kimbrell hit him in the ninth
Mhm.
inning, and I was so irate.
The freeze out of the lineup and Craig Kimbrell hits him with a curveball first pitch.
Man, that could have gone really, really bad.
That inning alone, that half inning alone took years off my life.
100%.
Like
100%.
of all the Kimbrell near meltdowns of that postseason, that was by far the worst one.
The Houston one was pretty bad too.
Houston one was bad as well. But the Yankees one was like we were about to clinch, we were about to knock off the Yankees,
Mm-hmm.
and Kimbrell was like, "Hold up,"
Yeah,
because Gary Sanchez also hit that ball that was like 10 feet
that
from
was
going
500
out.
feet. I'm still convinced.
Yeah, Gleyber
That ball
Torres
went-
hit that ball that like resulted in a really difficult Eduardo Nunez play at third that he absolutely would have thrown away 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm wrapping up with a reliever. This guy's been on my board forever. Like I said, you need a lefty. We're going back to mid 2010s Baltimore. It's gonna be Troy Patton.
Nice.
Here you go.
So then to send it off for myself, the most very random way to end with an outfielder. But then again, what's not random about this? So I'm gonna end it, with none other than a guy. But this guy was in Philly for the majority of his career. Someone that again I kind of stumbled upon in the last 15 minutes of doing this, but someone that probably would not have remembered without a little kickstart here. And that's when in doubt, Philadelphia outfielder. You got John Mayberry there holding it down in some way, shape, or form.
Yes,
Nice.
sir.
Serviceable, does the job, is in fact one of the guys of all time.
Of all the
Yes.
guys, he is up there as one of them for sure.
Exactly.
For sure, for sure. My last pick is a starting pitcher. He played for looks like 6 teams. He played for 13 years, but despite this, he managed 3.6 career wins above replacement. And I'm talking about a guy who, he was there quite a bit, but not too memorable. I'm talking about Kevin Correa, notably of Pirates fame, at least in my memory, but not too much else. Daniel, how are you gonna wrap this one up?
Yeah, so for Mr. Relevant instead of Mr. Irrelevant, I'm gonna take a guy that played in the league for, I believe, 4 years. Yeah, 4 years for one team. Put up an iconic 748 OPS, a 102 OPS plus, and a 1.7 B WAR in 236 games, 859 plate appearances. You may remember him for his 35 home runs and 116 RBIs for the Twins, not in one season, but in 4 seasons combined. We are finishing this draft off with Kenny's Vargas.
Great.
Bang.
I did see this guy play for the New Britain Rockets.
Nice. And
That
that
is a good
is
one.
that is the draft.
Yeah, another good one. Another good one. So yeah,
I mean,
we
if
can.
we if these teams were real and they were all at their peak, these are like 75 win teams.
100%. 100%.
At a max.
So yeah, do we want to go over teams starting with Daniel?
We'll do it. So, for my catcher, I had Katuitt Ketelier's icon Cameron Rupp. At first base, of course, leading off in this draft, we had Brandon Moss. Second base, Sean Rodriguez. Third base, Brett Laurie. Shortstop, Jason Bartlett. Outfield, I don't know what we're doing for left or right, but we got Jeff Francoeur, Scott Schebler, and Chris Denorfia. Kenny's Vargas DHing for us. And leading that rotation, we got Eric Stoltz. Alongside him, we got Mike Leake and Brandon McCarthy. Coming out of the bullpen, we got Randy Choate and Ross Ollendorf. And that is how Team Daniel lines up.
Filthy.
So my team, as my backstop, I got Jorvit Torrealba, 07 Rockies legend. At the first base position, Derek Barton. Second base, Omar Quintanilla. Third base, Brent Lillibridge. Shortstop, Alexi Amarista. Got a stacked outfield with Justin Ruggiano, Dayan Viciedo, and Brandon Geyer. At the DH role, a very super forgettable guy, Kyle Blanks, wearing number 88 for the Padres. My starting pitching staff is Gavin Floyd, Sean Markham, and Kevin Correa. And shutting it down at the back end of the bullpen, of course, is Tom Gorzalani and Neil Cops. Nico, what is your team looking like?
Got Chris Herman behind the plate. Infield's going Luke Scott, Danny Espinoza, Pedro Siriaco, Matt Davidson. And then outfield in some order, John Mayberry, Ryan Kalish, Eric Young Jr. I'm calling that the best defensive outfield here. DH, the captain, the base stealer, Kelly Shopik. Rotations, Henry Owens, Eric Bedard, Ramon Ortiz. And then I've got Fernando Salas and Casey Jansen in the pen.
That's wonderful. I'm looking at number 1, Hank Conger, doing the catching. I got Greg Dobbs, Alexi Casilla, Blake DeWitt, and Ryan Terrio as my infield. Outfield, we got Nate Shearholtz, Jason, what was it? Bourgeois. Yeah, beautiful. That's called learning right there. And pinch hitting legend Chris Heisey. DHing, we got Jimmy Paredes, who will probably be traded to kick off the rebuild. Starting, we got Tom Kohler, Kevin Slowey, and Jared Parker. And in the pen, Tom Wilhelmsen and Troy Patton.
All right, and then for me, I've got behind the plate, we're gonna start off with Michael McHenry, Ryan Healy, hopefully providing a little power in the middle of the order over at first base. Second base, Joe Panic. Third base, Kevin Kuzminoff. Adam Rosales at short. An outfield composed somehow, some way between the three of Neil Walker, Drew Stubbs, and Roger Bernardina. Ricky Weeks at DH. And then as far as arms, the starters are Doug Fister, Andrew Triggs, and John Neese. And then coming out of the bullpen are Charlie Furbush and Logan Ondrusik.
Excellent. That is episode 300. One thing that we always talk about when we do this draft, who do you think are some guys currently in the league that would be on these lists if we do this in the year 2029?
Oh man.
Because I don't know if he's in the league anymore, but Nomar Mazara comes to mind.
Travis Jankowski.
Travis Jankowski's a good one.
Yeah, that's a first rounder.
Sort of two players that are very similar in my head. You mentioned Nomar Mazara. For some reason, I always think of Ronald Guzman whenever Nomar Mazara gets mentioned. Those two are linked in my brain.
That's fair.
Austin
Both played for the
Nola.
Rangers. What's that?
Austin Nola.
It's a good one.
Austin Hedges.
Austin Hedges.
Bunt home run.
I'll never
legend
forget about
Austin
him.
Hedges.
Pinch hit in the World Series with the game on the line. Legend Austin Hedges.
I think Christian Vasquez also is in that role. I'm thinking guys that have been here for a long time that really just aren't anything crazy.
I think Brent Suter is a decent candidate.
Brent Suter is a great candidate.
Great.
Adrian Hauser.
Bullpen.
Carson Kelly.
Carson Kelly, noted, traded for Paul. Oh, I mean, Brian, I'm so sorry to
Luke
throw his name
Weaver.
out there, but Luke Weaver.
I've been told that Luke Weaver would be the best pitcher in the Yankees rotation.
Oh, Aquino.
Aquino's even more of a Linsanity guy than even just he had one.
That should be the next draft. We did guys who had that one season. Now guys who had that 1 month.
Can we do guys that had the day so I can bring back Middlebrooks?
I think we have
guys who had that one day.
We have suggested the all single game teams.
That one day in June 2017, Scooter Jeanette.
Yeah.
For my first round pick.
Derek Dietrich against the Pirates.
No, what's the guy's name? Tom Chaney. That one day where he threw 16 innings and shut out a team.
Harvey Haddix.
Harvey Haddix is a good one.
Who was the guy who relieved Babe Ruth the one game where he got ejected after the first batter and then threw a no-hitter?
I don't remember. I mean,
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
You could-
I know I watched that game, but I can't remember.
You could also, go a little bit off the board and reach into the Cape League. And this is someone who I'm sure is going to have very many games, but that one game of Travis Pisano in Katuitt.
6 for 8 with like 2 home runs, like a triple, like a single shy of the cycle or something like that.
He was a triple shy of the cycle, and I
Triple
know
shy,
that
yeah.
for a fact because
His-
his last at bat he hit a home run and was mad that he didn't hit the triple.
Yeah, that's gonna trigger Chris. I know that. Yeah, no, he went 6 for 8 and his team scored 27 runs.
Chris is holding it in.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
slugging percentage.
Well, it's just like, I don't know. It's the fact that you're doing better than you would getting the thing means the thing isn't that meaningful, in my opinion. But it's a cool thing. Regardless, hate to end on a sour note, but that is it for AR for Above Replacement Radio episode 300. Yeah, a pleasure as always. With everyone here. Yeah, and definitely one of the favorite drafts to do. It felt like a part 2 was necessary after doing it back in September of 2021. Happy we got back here and did it. So yeah, anyone want to tag, I don't know, any of their social medias or anything that that people want to follow or anything?
Yeah, at Robert_Dickey11 on Twitter.
Some
Not
good betting advice over there.
A lot of betting advice for sure.
A lot of it.
Nico_Fiscella on Twitter for my occasional random basketball stat.
I need to pull up my Twitter because I don't actually know what the handle is. At Brian Butler 225 on Twitter.
Yep, and then of course, if you want to follow all the interesting things in the Central Virginia high school sports area, go follow at Chris_Gianta for all of that. It hasn't been much baseball talk. It's been mostly some high school basketball.
High school basketball and the occasional Luis Arias rant.
Yes, yes, indeed. That's what you're signing up for when you're following at Chris_Gianta. Check out Daniel's Twitter as well at Daniel_Curran. Follow the show Instagram at Above Replacement Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called Above Replacement Radio. Check out all the playlists. Check out all the previous drafts, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, because we've done 5 of these now. Yeah, I think we've done 5.
100, 200, or 100, 150, 200. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, we've done 5 of these drafts, so check all of them out. So yeah, that'll do it for this installment of Above Replacement Radio. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you next time. See you then.
This conversation is over.